Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, and today I'm doing a predictions video for Sims 4 content coming in 2019. So I'm going to just open with a couple of important disclaimers. So this is not going to replace the New Year's Eve special that I usually do with my Sims 4 wish list at the end of the year, where I talk about what's happened this year and give my hopes for the next year. There might be a little bit of overlap because, yeah, some of the things that I want, I think might end up coming true as well. But yeah, my predictions and what I think we'll actually get are fairly different. And also, this is just for fun. Like, don't take this too seriously. I'll be surprised if I even get that much of this stuff correct. Like, okay, maybe in a general sense, maybe I'll correctly guess university, but if I actually get something correct down to the month that it actually releases, I'll be shocked. Quite honestly, yes, shocked. So to start things from a broader perspective, I don't think that 2019 will be as good as 2018. Though that's not to say that I think that next year is gonna suck. No, I don't think it's gonna suck either. But, I mean, just looking back on 2018 very briefly is just... Okay, we got terrain manipulation, Get Famous, and Seasons all within the same year. How do you top that? Well, my answer to that is simple. You don't. But not really that things will go downhill drastically. It's just that, yeah, I mean, that's kind of high standards in the first place. So I'm not expecting 2019 to top 2018. Maybe it'll come close, but yeah, I mean, Seasons. And also the fact that we got a stuff pack that we voted on. So yeah, there isn't really that coming in the near future, I don't think. And I don't know if they'll even do that again. We'll have to wait and see, but I hope they do. And I know the Sim Gurus have already been hyping up 2019 to be something great, but I know SimGuru Grant did something similar towards the end of last year, saying, like, that we're gonna be saying, I can't believe that you're doing all this cool stuff. And while I think that still somewhat holds true, it wasn't really for the whole year, in my opinion. It was only January, February, and November that this really applies to. So I'm still taking it with a bit of a grain of salt. I'm sure it'll be exciting stuff, but I don't think it's gonna really blow us out of the water. So, January 2019, I think we will get some kind of paid DLC for sure. We tend to get at least one pack every January, so I don't think that's going to change. And I think this is going to see the return of stuff packs. Yes, I know, that's probably not what most of you wanted to hear, but it has been quite a while since we've had a stuff pack. Almost a year, actually, which is kind of crazy to me. I never would have thought that would have happened. Even with the huge amount of backlash that my first pet stuff got, I don't know, it's just like, stuff packs are easy money for EA, right? And we all know, haha, EA loves money and that sort of stuff that everybody loves saying about EA, but yeah, I think stuff packs are going to come back eventually. It's just that, yeah, they just want the controversy to blow over a little bit. Even though I would not mind one bit if stuff packs were just scrapped altogether for now and the future installments of the Sims franchise that I'm sure will eventually come around. But this is where my hopes and predictions slightly overlap for a bit, because I both hope and think that whatever stuff pack does come out next, it will be drastically better than my first pet stuff. And I think, hopefully at least, one of the best stuff packs, because, yeah, I mean, if they want to convince people that stuff packs are still worth getting, they're gonna have to come up with something really good, really good. Something that a lot of players want for sure, and not just like something that maybe 10 people want, or something that's just like another DLC for a DLC. Like, yeah, they really need to step up their game, and I find it very difficult to predict stuff packs because stuff packs are so niche. They can be just about anything. You could make the wildest guess and it could potentially be correct just because stuff packs tend to do really odd themes, like movie hangout stuff, for example. Who could have guessed that we would have gotten a stuff pack that's Bohemian themed and also includes movies to watch at home and not at a theater venue. Yeah, so I'm just going to guess that in order to bring stuff packs up to a better reputation again, they're going to bring out another age-focused stuff pack. We've had kids' room stuff and toddler stuff in the past, and I think that they could potentially do one for teenagers. They did do that in The Sims 2, so I don't know how reluctant they may be to do something that's kind of similar. But celebration stuff for The Sims 2 also kind of revolved around kids, but it had a bit more focus on dressing up. So yeah, I guess a teen stuff pack for The Sims 4 is not out of the question. It just might have a different focus and style than the Sims 2 version. And yeah, I mean, I really want to see Elders get some improvements, but just from how the Sim Gurus have been talking on Twitter lately, it seems like they're very reluctant to the idea of doing anything really dedicated to Elders. So if we get something for Elders, that might be more of a 2020 prediction instead of 2019. But what about the game packs? Well, I know it's been a while since we've had those two, but it's been longer since we've had a stuff pack, so I think they might try and put out a stuff pack first, with a game pack potentially coming out a couple of months later. So let's get into February, and that's going to be the 19th anniversary of the Sims franchise, and I think there will be free content coming out that month, but no paid DLC. So what could be the free content? I'm not sure. I mean, I'd love for them to do one of the themes that they did in the past where they brought back a thing from each past Sims game, but I don't know, I guess they just don't want to do that again for some reason because they've never really done that since. So I'm guessing there'll either be a very cultural focus or it'll be one feature from a previous Sims game that a lot of us want. I want to say cars, but I don't know if we'll even get cars next year, so I'm just gonna say, as badly as I want cars, we're not getting them next year. That, or it's just gonna happen like very close to the end of the year. So what could we get instead of cars? Well, there's been a lot of talk about improving babies. The team does seem pretty interested in improving that age group as well. So maybe that's it. Why not start off, well, not quite start off, but close to the beginning of the year with babies, where it's like, oh, 2019 is a baby, so improve the babies while the year is still new as well. I don't know. That sounded a little bit better in my head, but hopefully you get what I mean here. Like, you know how in the New Year's parties with The Sims 2, there'd be that toddler that would show up to ring in the new year? I'm thinking along those lines. And then March comes along, and I think that's when we'll most likely get a new game pack, and I think it will be an occult pack, sort of like vampires, and it'll be about witches. Yeah, I know, a lot of you are gonna complain and say, oh, but realistic gameplay, I hate occults. Well, let's be fair here. 2018 was pretty much all about realism. There weren't any occults since vampires, really. Yeah, Patchy doesn't really count. Neither does the skeletons from Jungle Adventure. They're not like fully developed playable occults like the vampires are. And I think it's about time that we get another occult, and witches are quite easily what's most demanded, just from what I see in talks just with the Sims community. It's just like, yeah, definitely witches are the most heavily demanded, so I think we are going to get them next. And hopefully they'll be really cool, just like the vampires. And yeah, I think we will get 2 game packs next year though. So for those of you who really want a game pack that's realistic, I think that might come a few months later. So what about April? I think the next expansion pack will be announced. No, April Fools. There's gonna be nothing at all. Maybe just some bug fixes, but in terms of new content, no. I think April will be empty. The console side, though, I think might end up being a bit different for that month, because I'm gonna throw a guess in there and say that Get Famous will be on consoles. Since by that time it will be a decent amount of time since the PC release, I think that is when PS4 and Xbox One could get famous. Sims 4 on console is definitely catching up to the PC pretty quickly as of late, so I think that there might be a couple of stuff packs sprinkled into the first quarter of 2019 as well. And I think My First Pet stuff will not be released on its own because of the bad reputation that it already has on PC. I'm not sure what stuff pack it would release alongside, or maybe it will release alongside Spade, the one game pack that is still not released on consoles. But I feel like Spade might be more of a summer release, and we already got both Outdoor Retreat and Jungle Adventure at the same time in December, so I don't think a game pack for consoles will be coming quite so quickly again. But other than that, there isn't too much for me to say about consoles because they just get everything that the PC version gets a few months or so later. Though I can make a couple of exceptions, because a while back, Simguru Duke did say that they were working on mouse and keyboard controls for consoles, so that I think will come late spring / early summer. And, well, I don't know about the gallery, because I know they're working on bringing the gallery to consoles, but they've been saying that's quite a long process too, so that might be something that could come towards the fall. And then in May, I think we will get another stuff pack. Though I'm not really too sure what it could be, because again, like, how do you predict some of these stuff packs? I'm not really sure, but I'll throw something out there, I guess. So I'll say maybe one of the scrapped themes from the community stuff pack vote. So the runner-up actually turned out to be starter home stuff. I'm kind of surprised. I thought it was wedding stuff, but I just didn't really remember. So yeah, I think this would be another really good way of bringing stuff packs back to a better reputation, to use one of the ideas that we were voting on, just the one that didn't win first place because Eco Living won, and ended up turning into Laundry Day stuff. But yeah, I think we are going to get a stuff pack again fairly early in the year, but a little farther away than when we got My First Pet stuff in 2018. And then in June, I think there could be something, but not big enough to deem The Sims worthy to be at EA Play again. Because, I mean, yeah, Seasons was a big deal, but even with Seasons, it was just playable at the show, and EA invited a bunch of game changers, but yeah, there was nothing related to The Sims in that big presentation. So EA still doesn't seem to really think of The Sims as a big enough deal to be shown alongside some of their other titles. They still seem to think that The Sims is just a really niche game that like 20 people play, but I digress. I think there is still going to be something in June, and that's going to be a second game pack for 2019, and I think it's going to be something very similar to the Sims 2 Free Time expansion pack, except this time it'll be done in game pack form, and as a result it will be very in-depth, and it will just go into like a few specific hobbies, but maybe give them a bit more weight than they did in The Sims 2. And then from July up until October, I don't think there will be any packs released. However, I think there will be a decently sized free update during that time, maybe more than one, but I'm gonna play it safe and just say one. There were two decently substantial updates that happened last summer, where there was that controversial gallery update, and then there was also the Caribbean themed content where there were like a whole bunch of objects and clothing, and also sliding doors and the ceiling fan. And I'm gonna say that's gonna be when they're going to bring back the chemistry system, complete with turn-ons and turn-offs. Recently, SimGuru Grant did say on Twitter that if that stuff was to be brought back, it would be done more broadly than it was before. And, well, if that stuff comes back, we'll just have to wait and see what exactly he means by that. But summer would be a good time to have that stuff, in my opinion, because then it's like, oh, things are heating up in The Sims, but it's not just the weather, because the romance is getting an upgrade. So let's fast forward to October, and I'm gonna say early in the month, the next expansion pack will finally be announced. No April Fools, we'll get it, and it's going to be about university. I think this is a pretty logical choice, especially since we did get that celebrity-themed expansion pack out of the way this year, which I was definitely not expecting. But by process of elimination, I feel like there's a lot less things they can do now as a full-on expansion pack, and there's always so much demand for university whenever a new Sims game comes out, and The Sims 4, that's been no exception. I still see so many people demanding university whenever The Sims tweets something new, so I do think that university will be coming out in the fall. If anything in this video ends up being correct, I think it's going to be this. I think this is the safest prediction. And I am aware of the fact that not everywhere around the world starts school at the same time of year, but considering that The Sims is produced in the United States, I do think they want to kind of target their North American audience in that sense, where it's like, okay, yep, like in the US, school starts around August, and in Canada, it starts in September. So I think that would make sense to release University shortly after that. And I predict that alongside this expansion pack, there will be something new added to build mode. And I'm gonna say that's going to be finally spiral stairs. And this would make sense because when you're building dorms, you do want to save some space. And yeah, if you want to make some really cramped buildings, then we're gonna need something better than just the same old stairs that we've had for 4 years. So, yep, that's gonna be its time. Hopefully, 2019, the year of the stairs. And said stairs, I'm predicting, is going to be in an update that will majorly mess with our games and have a lot of bugs. Okay, so even if I don't get university right, I'll probably get this correct, even if it doesn't end up happening in the exact month that it comes out. But getting back to the university expansion pack, I think there will be a different spin on university compared to the past Sims games. That's definitely been a running theme with The Sims 4, is that the expansion packs, while for the most part are similar to packs that we've received in past games, they do something different for better or worse. But I think this time around, they will also include community colleges instead of it just being the straight up university that we've had in the past games. I'd like to say that we would be able to go to elementary and high school, but I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't be able to fit that into an expansion pack, and they would instead sell that as a separate game pack or something. But hopefully this expansion pack will not have Gets in the title. I predict the name will be On Campus. I think that would make sense, especially if it does end up being a slightly broader education pack compared to the past games. And I think as potential side features, we're going to get bunk beds and a sleepover event, because I mean, I would have probably said that the teenage themed stuff pack would have been sleepover stuff, but I feel like bunk beds are fairly essential to that theme, and the SimGurus have said multiple times in the past that bunk beds are a bit too much for a stuff pack. So yeah, I think bunk beds are going to come in a game pack or an expansion pack, and I think University is the best chance to get those bunk beds. And I'm going to make a pretty specific prediction here. I think The Sims 4 On Campus will release on Friday, November 15th, 2019. So that's on a Friday. Again, like with the recent expansion pack releases, and it's going to be smack dab in the middle of the month. That'll be close enough to Black Friday, so there will be plenty of holiday sales. And speaking of the holidays, I'll say once again, December will bring us another free holiday themed update. The theme of this one I think will be focused on Hanukkah to make itself different from past holiday updates and also be more culturally inclusive. But on the side, there will be a couple of winter jackets that are meant to be used with the cold weather category. And that's pretty much it for my 2019 predictions. We'll roll back to one expansion pack per year, but in an attempt to make up for it, there will be 2 game packs and 2 stuff packs to fill the first 6 months. There will also be some free updates here and there, like some more cultural content, as well as the return of the chemistry system from The Sims 2. Consoles still remain behind the PC, but not as far behind as it used to be. There are a couple of other topics I didn't get to touch upon though. I know a tropical beach destination is highly demanded, so what about that? As badly as I want my Sims to swim in the ocean again, I think it's more likely to come later in 2020, or possibly much later, as it already took us so long to get our second vacation world. Plus, I think it might make a lot of sense for that sort of theme to be one of the last packs to end The Sims 4 on a more relaxing note. I do think 2019 will have more celebrity and or brand endorsements, but I predict the baby Ariel stuff stays in 2018 and they move on to something else. So overall, I think 2019 will be pretty decent for a whole variety of players. It won't reach the highs of 2018, but won't hit the lows of 2018 either. Nothing nearly as controversial as My First Pet stuff, but potentially some really game-breaking stuff. But I mean, come on, it's The Sims. The Sims always has bugs, so yeah, I think that's more expected. But feel free to let me know your predictions for 2019 in the comments section below. And be sure to leave a like or a comment or even subscribe, because it lets me know that you like my channel and my videos, and it helps you keep up to date more easily with my latest content from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!